So it helps for me to be able to put everything in context. In 1987, my husband and I bought this home when we were 26. And this is an old neighborhood. We're 2 blocks from downtown. And what I remember that was so wonderful is it was an aging population, an aging neighborhood. 3 to maybe 4,000 people lived in the entire town compared to the 75,000 that live now. And we had lived in the house for 1 week. We were still unpacking boxes and we heard this knock on the door. My husband opens the door. It's a volunteer firefighter asking for donations. Takes one look at my husband and goes, "Are your parents home?" It puts it into context how different Apex is now from when we moved here 36 years ago. I think one of the most important things to me, I can look back at all the things that I did, charter member of the Appearance Commission, putting forth a new sign ordinance that had a lot of people angry. I can look at planning board, town board, and all those things as wonderful experiences in giving back to the community. But I think the thing that's most important to me is that when we bought our home in 1987, I didn't know that Charlie and Ann Holland of Holland's Jewelers in downtown had built our home in 1963 and raised their 7 children here. For me, this neighborhood is the sense of community that I fell in love with. I grew up in Charlotte and never had that. And so I kind of look at all the things that I've done as a way of giving back to the community. And the fact that about 10 years after we moved here, Charlie and the group of founding members of the Apex Rotary Club invited me to be the 2nd woman member of the club. These were not the young guys. These were the guys in their 70s and 80s who wanted me to be in that club. What I learned about Apex, what I learned about my neighborhood, what I learned about the 7 kids who grew up in this house is what sense of community is. And that, to me, is why I do what I do and why I love Apex. There are a lot of things that make Apex home. One is the number of people I now see pushing strollers through the neighborhood. As I jokingly said a while back, how old the community was. Those are very important things where we're seeing a renaissance and a rejuvenation of our community, and I love that. That is what makes me hopeful. And at the same time, preserving what we have is absolutely critical. As a landscape architect, I'm very excited about the downtown streetscape. I'm very excited about everything that's happening down there. But I also, as a landscape architect and a fellow in the American Society of Landscape Architects, I have a cautionary tale. The neighborhoods that I've been talking to you so passionately about are going away. And the mid-century Americana homes that built this downtown are being replaced by McMansions. And I'm watching half-acre lots turn into 4 lots with giant homes, 3-car garages, and swimming pools in the back. And right now we're standing in an old growth forest and you can hear the birds. But I plan on going out of my house in 30 years, feet first with a toe tag. And I will protect my 1963 home that whole time. But I worry, is it too late to protect the neighborhoods? And is it too late to have homes that are downtown that are affordable, that date back to the 40s, 50s, and 60s? I am asking this town council and the future town councils, please protect the mid-century American style of architecture please protect these half-acre lots, because if you let them go, there goes a lot of what this town is all about and what helped to establish the character. One of the first things that I noticed was there were a lot of landscape architects and architects who were young, living in the community 35 years ago. So we all came together and decided to create an appearance commission. And while it doesn't exist now, at the time, it was very important. We established the first amortizing sign ordinance, which means you go back and tell business owners that you've got 7 years to replace your really ugly signs along William Street and 55. It did not go over very well. As a matter of fact, there was a time there we were all called commies. And that also puts things into context in the late 80s and early 90s. Won't name the council member who called us that, but I will say that this is also a council member that threatened to kick the current mayor's rear end out in the parking lot. So we've always had colorful politics in town. From that, I realized I had a pretty tough skin to be called a communist, and went on to be on the planning board and then on the town board. And during that time, being a landscape architect was very important. It allowed, and I only ran one time for the town board because there was only one thing I wanted to do, and that was to help write the Unified Development Ordinance. It was the first time we had ever done it. That was a tough 4 years. And after that, stepping off of the council, I really wanted to start volunteering and did a lot to raise funds for the Holly Center. I was on the building committee for our town hall. And probably the thing that was most important to me is my entire career has been dedicated to designing schools and designing outdoor play for kids. And when the mayor, Jacques, by the way, we never use his last name. He's a wonderful mayor, came to me as a police captain and said, "Chris, we need help with a skate park for the kids because the latest survey had shown that we had a very high disenfranchised population of teenagers." So we did volunteer to design the Hunter Street, not the park, but actually the skate plaza. And we worked with the community, raising the funds for it, worked with Team Payne skateboard designers to do the installation, and more importantly, worked with the kids in the community to help them be a part of the design team and to feel enfranchised by the skate park. And I still hope there's a future to the skate park because we have an idea that in the future it'll be a performing arts covered amphitheater as well, once again, for the teens. So I'm plugging that. And moving forward now, though I've retired, we went on to do this in 3 to 4 other communities in North Carolina, and very, very important and passionate thing for me. So the Apex Rotary Club has been running the Apex Rotary Christmas Parade for a very long time, and before that the JCs. And that, I believe, is what I've been most passionate about in the later part of my career and being a part of this community. We have the only night parade in Wake County. It is still the most wonderful parade because we haven't changed a whole lot since the JCs first did it in the 1950s, and I hope it always stays that way. But I will tell you, it is a full-time job starting in August. And when we look back the day after the parade, we always smile because of the amount of money that we've raised for the community, and more importantly, the camaraderie we've had with the town, with the police department, the fire department, public works. And that is what this community is all about. It is about just creating these wonderful opportunities to make a lot of kids happy. And at the end of the day, we all did it together.